Hello, dear learners. Welcome back to our channel, where learning English feels like an exciting adventure you'll never forget. Today, we're starting the amazing life story of one of the greatest leaders the world has ever known, Nelson Mandela. This isn't just a simple story, it's a true journey full of hope, incredible courage, and unbreakable determination. As you listen, you'll build your English vocabulary, practice better pronunciation, and sharpen your listening skills. But best of all, this story will inspire you to dream big, believe in yourself, and never give up, no matter how difficult life becomes. So, get comfortable, stay focused, and let's begin the incredible journey of Nelson Mandela, a man who truly changed the world. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in a small and peaceful village called Mvezo in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. His birth name was Rolihlahla Mandela. In the Xhosa language, Rolihlahla literally means pulling the branch of a tree, but many people say it can also mean troublemaker. Little did anyone know, this name would perfectly match his later courage in fighting against unfairness and injustice.
He was born into the Thembu royal family, a proud tribe with a rich history and strong traditions. His father, Gadla Henry Mpakanyiswa, was a respected chief and an important advisor to the Thembu king. Although Mandela's family did not have a lot of money, they were highly respected by everyone in their community. His mother, Nosekeni Fanny, was a kind and devoted Christian woman. She taught young Nelson the values of kindness, humility, and strong faith, lessons that stayed with him for his entire life. Mandela's childhood was simple, but it was full of happiness and freedom. He lived in a traditional round hut made of mud walls and a grass roof. Around him were wide open fields, gentle rolling hills, and clear blue skies. There was no electricity, no running water from taps, and none of the modern comforts we often have today. But to young Nelson, life felt perfect. He felt truly free and joyful. As a boy, he loved running barefoot across the green fields, herding cattle with his friends, and swimming in the cool, sparkling streams. He played exciting traditional Xhosa games, stick fighting, and racing with the other children. In the evenings, he sat with his family and the village elders around a warm fire under the stars. They told fascinating stories about brave warriors, wise kings, and great leaders from long ago. These powerful stories lit a fire in young Mandela's heart and made him dream of one day becoming a leader himself. One evening, his father looked at him seriously and said, "A real leader is not someone who only wants power for himself. A true leader is someone who serves his people with all his heart." Those wise words planted a seed deep inside Mandela, and they guided him through every challenge he would face in the years to come.
When Mandela was just 9 years old, a terrible tragedy changed everything. His beloved father became very ill and sadly passed away. This was a heartbreaking loss for the young boy. It felt like his whole world had fallen apart. But this sad moment also became a turning point, a new chapter that would shape the rest of his life. After his father's death, Mandela's mother decided to take him to live with Chief Jongintaba Dalindyebo, the respected royal leader of the Thembu people. Chief Jongintaba kindly welcomed Mandela into his great home and treated him like his own son. For the first time, young Nelson experienced life beyond his quiet little village. He now lived in the chief's large palace, where he watched important meetings and learned valuable lessons about true leadership, ancient traditions, and the heavy responsibility of guiding a community. These experiences opened his eyes and filled his mind with big ideas about justice and fairness. Mandela had started attending a local Methodist school when he was 7 years old. It was there, on his very first day, that his teacher, Miss Medingane, gave him the English name Nelson. This was a common practice in those days. Many African children received new Christian or English names at school. Mandela didn't fully understand why he needed a different name, but he accepted it quietly and threw himself into his studies. He quickly became an excellent and hard-working student, always curious and eager to learn more. He especially loved reading English literature, exploring geography, and discovering history, particularly the brave stories of African heroes who stood up against colonial rulers. Even as a young man, Mandela believed deeply in the power of education. He often said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." This strong belief pushed him to study harder, dream bigger, and never stop learning.
As Mandela grew older, he began to notice the deep inequalities all around him. South Africa was controlled by a harsh system called apartheid, which separated black and white people in every part of daily life. Black people could not vote, own good land, or even live in the same areas as white people. Everywhere he looked, Mandela saw unfairness, discrimination, and suffering. At the age of 16, Mandela took part in a traditional Xhosa ceremony called Ulawako, a special rite of passage where boys officially become men. During this important event, the elders spoke about the duties and responsibilities of manhood, but they also expressed their deep sadness about how their people were treated under apartheid. Listening to their words, Mandela felt a powerful sense of duty rising inside him. He knew he had to fight for justice, freedom, and equality for his people. When Mandela turned 19, Chief Jomintaba arranged a marriage for him, following tribal customs. But Mandela had different dreams. He wanted to continue his education, chase his own goals, and make his own choices in life. So, he made a brave and daring decision. He ran away to the big, bustling city of Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, Mandela discovered a completely different world. The city was full of energy and noise, tall buildings, busy streets, and people from everywhere. But it was also full of challenges and hardship. Black workers toiled long hours for very low pay and lived in crowded, poor townships, while white people enjoyed most of the wealth, comfort, and privileges. To support himself, Mandela worked as a night watchman at a gold mine. He continued his studies whenever he could, even though he lived in a tiny, crowded room and sometimes didn't have enough food to eat. Life was tough, but Mandela never lost hope. He truly believed that education was the key that would open doors to a brighter future. Eventually, Mandela achieved one of his big dreams. He enrolled at the University of the Witwatersrand to study law. He was one of only a handful of black students there and often faced discrimination and prejudice from others. But instead of giving up, these difficulties only made him stronger and more determined. During his university years, Mandela took a life-changing step. He joined the African National Congress, or ANC, a brave political organization that was fighting peacefully for the rights and freedom of blacks. To support himself, he started attending secret meetings where he listened to powerful speeches full of passion and hope. There, he shared his own ideas about building a fairer, more equal society for everyone. Mandela dreamed of a South Africa where everyone, black, white, colored, or Indian, could live together in peace, harmony, and complete equality. He imagined a country where children of all races played together without fear,
where families built bright futures side by side, and where justice truly prevailed for every person. This beautiful dream became the driving force behind everything he did. But the path to making it real was long, dangerous, and filled with enormous challenges, sacrifices, and deep pain. When Mandela first arrived in Johannesburg, he was a young man bursting with hope and big dreams. The city pulsed with life and energy, bright lights, busy streets, and endless possibilities. Yet for black people, it was also a place of great struggle. They were treated as second-class citizens, forced to live in crowded, poor neighborhoods known as townships. Mandela rented a tiny room in Alexandra, one of the toughest townships, and found work as a clerk in a law firm. The job was hard and tiring, but it taught him so much about South Africa's unfair legal system and how it was used to oppress black people. In the evenings, he studied by the soft glow of candlelight, pushing himself to complete his law degree. His hunger for knowledge and justice was truly unstoppable. He once reflected on his long journey by saying, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb." The African National Congress, ANC, had been fighting for rights for many years. But Mandela and a group of passionate young activists felt it needed bolder, fresher ideas. Together, they formed the ANC Youth League, which worked hard to inspire and mobilize young people across the country to stand against apartheid. Mandela's speeches were fiery, full of power and deep emotion. He spoke clearly about justice, equality, and the urgent need for real action. People were drawn to his courage and clear vision. One of his most famous quotes is, "It always seems impossible until it's done." While deeply involved with the ANC, Mandela met a kind, intelligent, and strong woman named Evelyn Mace. She was a nurse who shared his passion for a better South Africa. They fell in love, married in 1944, and soon started a family. Mandela was a devoted and loving husband and father, but his growing commitment to the freedom struggle often kept him away from home for long periods. Balancing family life with leadership was never easy. He once said, "There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." In 1948, the government passed even stricter apartheid laws, making daily life almost unbearable for black South Africans. These laws controlled where they could live, work, travel, and even whom they could marry. Mandela and his fellow activists knew they had to respond strongly. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's ideas, Mandela helped organize peaceful protests, strikes, boycotts, and large marches. Thousands of brave people joined, risking their jobs, homes, and safety. But the government answered with cruelty, beating protesters, arresting them, and sometimes even killing them. Mandela himself was arrested several times, yet he never backed down. He believed that courage is not the absence of fear, it is inspiring others to move beyond it. Despite all the obstacles, Mandela achieved a major milestone in 1952. He qualified as a lawyer. Together with his close friend, Oliver Tambo, he opened the first black-owned law firm in South Africa, Mandela and Tambo Attorneys. Their office became a beacon of hope, offering free or low-cost legal help to countless black people suffering under apartheid's unjust laws. By day, Mandela fought cases in court. By night, he planned the next steps in the struggle for freedom. Tragedy struck in 1960 during a peaceful protest in Sharpeville. Police suddenly opened fire on unarmed demonstrators, killing 69 people and wounding hundreds more.
This terrible massacre shocked the entire world and changed Mandela forever. He realized that peaceful methods alone might not end apartheid quickly enough. Soon after, the government banned the ANC, forcing its leaders to work in secret. Mandela helped form Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation, a new armed wing of the ANC. Their aim was not to hurt people, but to sabotage government buildings and systems that supported apartheid. Mandela became a wanted man. He traveled secretly across South Africa, often in disguise, organizing resistance and training new recruits. He even went abroad to seek support from other countries. Because he was so clever at avoiding capture, newspapers called him the Black Pimpernel. But danger followed him everywhere. He missed his family terribly and knew any day could be his last as a free man. In 1962, the police finally caught him. Mandela was charged with serious crimes like sabotage and trying to overthrow the government. During his famous Rivonia trial, he turned the courtroom into a stage for truth. In one of the most powerful speeches in history, he declared, "I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die."
The judge sentenced him to life in prison. Mandela was sent to the harsh Robben Island prison off the coast of Cape Town. Conditions were brutal. He worked long hours breaking rocks in a blinding limestone quarry, slept on a thin mat in a tiny cold cell, and was allowed only one visitor and one letter every 6 months. Guards treated prisoners cruelly, but Mandela's spirit stayed strong. He used prison time wisely, studying, reflecting, learning the Afrikaans language to better understand his jailers, and teaching younger prisoners about history, leadership, and hope. He remained fundamentally optimistic, saying, "Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward." Over the years, Mandela became a global symbol of resistance against injustice. People everywhere chanted, "Free Nelson Mandela." Protests grew, songs were written, and countries imposed sanctions on South Africa. Mandela spent 27 long years behind bars, most on Robben Island. The hard labor and isolation tested him daily, but he never lost dignity or hope. He later explained, "The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." While in prison, Mandela secretly communicated with ANC leaders outside and even began quiet talks with the government. He understood that true victory required reconciliation, not revenge. Finally, on February 11, 1990, the world watched in joy as a 71-year-old Nelson Mandela walked free, his hair gray, but his eyes bright with determination. His first words to the cheering crowds were humble. "I stand here before you, not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people." The country celebrated wildly, but difficult work lay ahead. Many wanted revenge for years of suffering. Mandela chose a different path. He preached forgiveness and unity. "Resentment," he said, "is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." As leader of the ANC, he guided South Africa toward its first truly democratic elections. On April 27, 1994, millions stood patiently in long lines to vote, for many, their very first time. Nelson Mandela was elected as the country's first black president. At his inauguration, with world leaders watching, he promised, "Never, never, and never again
shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. As president, Mandela worked tirelessly to heal and unite the nation. One unforgettable moment came during the 1995 Rugby World Cup. Rugby had been seen as a white sport, but Mandela wore the Springboks jersey, cheered with the team, and presented the trophy to the captain, a powerful symbol of reconciliation, captured in the film Invictus. The movie's title comes from a poem Mandela loved. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. After one term in 1999, Mandela stepped down voluntarily, showing the world that great leaders know when to pass power to others. In his later years, he fought for peace, education, children's rights, and the battle against HIV/AIDS. He traveled globally, inspiring young people and reminding everyone of the strength found in forgiveness. On December 5, 2013, at the age of 95, Nelson Mandela passed away peacefully. The world mourned a true giant. Millions attended memorials, from presidents to ordinary people whose lives he had touched forever. Mandela's legacy lives everywhere. He proved that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary change through determination, patience, and love. He taught us, I never lose, I either win or learn. Failure is just a lesson. Every fall is a chance to rise stronger. No matter where we come from or what obstacles we face, we all have the power to make a positive difference, one kind act, one brave stand at a time. Dear learners, Mandela's story shows that even in the darkest moments, hope shines brightest. When life feels impossible, remember his words. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. You are stronger than you know. Your dreams are worth fighting for. Never give up, because just like Mandela, you can change the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this emotional and inspiring journey through Nelson Mandela's life. If this story touched your heart, share it with friends and family. Let's keep his message of hope, unity, and freedom alive together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that will motivate you and help improve your English. See you in the next adventure.